sports. Over 20 podcasters, 70 weekly shows, and a 3.4-star rating on Roku TV.
Hi, everyone, and happy 2024. It's me once again, your girl, Sonia Pearson. But tonight, this is my introduction to a brand new platform, Northeast Streaming Sports, where we have nightly football, sports, basketball, everything you can think of right here. And tonight, I have the very special privilege of introducing as my co-host tonight, the founder of Northeast Streaming Sports, none other than the Mac man himself. Good evening, Mac. Happy New Year.
Well, good morning to you, and good morning, good evening. It's morning here somewhere, I don't know. But good evening to you. Happy New Year to you and everyone that'll be tuning in here tonight. Can't wait to get this going, Sonia.
Yeah, so tell us just a little bit about Northeast Streaming Sports so we'll know how all of my followers can get on board and get all of the news round the clock on your platform here.
That sounds great. So Northeast Streaming Sports is a mainly a Roku channel where we now have updated our format so that we're more and more like a sports network. We got shows all morning long. We got shows at night, including this one here was part of the new format change. We got Sonia doing her thing at night. We got the Philly sports guy, Jamie Aggs, doing her afternoon show. And me and my long-time co-host, Jack, started off in the morning. So we got almost all day sports now where all the people get out there and get their sports right from us.
Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of Prim and Proper Sports. I'm your host, Sonia Pearson. And of course, that segment was dedicated to John Mac McGrath, our producer who we lost this week. Rest in peace, Mac. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to join National Streaming Sports Network. Also, make sure you guys download the Roku app so you too can be in the know when we are live with sports 24/7 without the cost of cable. I'm also on the Elite Sports Network. Shout out to those guys over there, Logan, Jay, and company. And I'm also on the Huddle Sports Network. So I am everywhere. And as they like to say, I'm not hard to find. Speaking of not hard to find, have a very special guest on tonight. Now, this person is going to be a very, very well-respected guest tonight because he comes with a voiceover background and he is a professional voiceover as well as professional storyteller and just a lot of things. And we're going to go ahead and sit down and have a conversation with him. And he also is an Eagles fan, guys. He's a Philly sports fan. And so we're going to come and get to know him tonight for the next 50 so minutes. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you all none other than Matt Nelson. Good afternoon. Good evening, Matt. How are you?
I was going to say, I hope you're not in Hawaii.
I was in February for my birthday, so it would have been afternoon.
Nice.
Nice. You're making me homesick to go back there now. So, Matt, welcome to the platform. Welcome to Prim and Proper Sports. Thank you so much for having the time today to come and sit down and talk with us. Professional storyteller, sports announcer, former voice of the Harlem Globetrotters, of course. I'm coming with a plethora of experience in that degree. Of course, now you are now currently serving as the stadium announcer for Westchester Soccer Club, Real Central New Jersey Soccer, FDU Columbia University, Manhattan University, and St. Thomas in Guidas. I mean, just a lot there. You're a busy, busy person, Matt.
Busy is an understatement. And St. Thomas Aquinas. Don't worry, you're not the first person to make that mistake.
Aquinas. You know, I'm from the South. We're saying Aquinas.
And the thing, we had this conversation before we went live.
We did. Sorry. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Start from your days as the former voice with the Harlem Globetrotters, of course, and bring us up today.
I think it goes even before that, because a lot of people who have known me since, the 2010 teens and early 2000, well, I should say late 2000s through the early 20 teens. So I went to college to be a sports broadcaster. Did my 2 years in a community college atmosphere, then went to a 4-year school for my last 2 years. Got my bachelor's there, Rowan University, go Profs. I dabbled a bit in sports broadcasting, tried print journalism out for about a year after college. Ultimately, sports broadcasting was not the way for me to get myself out and about and, to my ultimate destination. So I kind of fell into my lap, so to speak. One of my colleagues who used to work as the head of sports information at Felician University, he put me in touch with Mark Frotto, who, if you don't know by now, he is one of the big time names in public address announcing. He does the Wizards, the Commanders, NYCFC. He's a boxing announcer, but he's also known for running Lineker Media. And he helps folks in the sports industry pick up all different types of work, freelance, part-time, full-time, you name it. And he's got his own listserv. It's a very, very low cost yearly subscription. And I thought, there's a gig at St. Peter's University that had an opening for a women's basketball game. Let me call them up and see if that gig is still available. And it was. And I realized the longer I did it, the more I actually enjoyed it. There was not as much preparation going into those games. Sports broadcasting takes hours upon hours. It's a bigger grind, but ultimately it just became more of a natural thing for me. So yeah.
It's definitely, because you think about it, they always say if you find a career you love, then you're never going to work because it's something you actually love. It's not like you're going to a job. And so to know that you kind of found that niche early on, and you do bring up something really interesting that I never really thought about. Of course, there's a lot that goes into sports announcing. We sit here and we hear the narration and the commentary of all the games, and we're like, how do they know all these players? How do they know all these plays? And so, for you to go in and find your niche in the proper area, it kind of was the best of both worlds, right, Matt?
I feel like sports has saved my life, in that it helped me get through a really difficult time personally. I won't get into all the details right now, but I've always known that sports has been something that I just enjoy being a part of. And I feel like if I'm not in sports, then what do I do? You know what I mean? So I really feel like there's a pretty significant difference between sports broadcasting and public address announcing. The broadcasting crew, you're, delivering commentary, you're telling a story, yes, but you're doing it to a pretty big audience. It could be hundreds, thousands, even millions of people. Whereas as a public address announcer, you're not necessarily delivering your voice to, like a Super Bowl type crowd,
right?
But you are delivering it to the folks who are there live and in person to, watch their favorite players, maybe their significant other, or maybe it's a much different environment, but it is something that I've come to grow and love with a lot more passion and excitement and energy over the past several years.
Yeah. And, you brought up something that, for me personally, because I always, when I bring guests on, I like to always kind of, chat with them a little bit beforehand, but everything is unscripted. But I like to kind of identify and connect with my guests as well, not just, kind of like I'm inviting you into my home. We're sitting down for a nice cup of tea or coffee or whatever your beverage of choice is, and some snacks, and we're just conversing. And I like how you brought up that sometimes you find things that just kind of get you through a difficult time. I actually feel the same way about doing this podcast. It really got me and still continues to get me because I'm going, through different things like we all do.
Yeah.
But I look forward to podcasting. It's my way to connect with other people. If you are a person that is more so homebound or whatever, having everything in a virtual capacity now allows me to connect with so many other people that you wouldn't just from going to the grocery store or things like that, your run-of-the-mill type of lifestyle. But I do really, really love how I feel that we have that common thread in common. Sports is an alleviation of stressors. I mean, sometimes, watching your favorite team, you do, have your blood pressure up because you don't know how it's going to end. But overall, I mean, at least your heart's working the way it's supposed to work. And I know you have had an opportunity to see so many people just in the area. I mean, you're in the northeastern part of the United States in the Philadelphia area. And so that's an area that's populous. It's not far from New York City. So that's definitely populous. And those teams up there in the Northeast are, very dominant in their games. Their fan bases are strong. They follow them and what have you. What is your favorite specific memory when you were doing voiceovers for the Harlem Globetrotters, as well as from your professional storytelling?
Oh boy. I've got a couple from my time with the Trotters. My first year was pretty much a Northeastern based tour, including Canada, but there were a couple of days where we got the opportunity to go to Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. One of my biggest special interests is motorsports, specifically NASCAR. And so I made a note to visit Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A lot of rich history between the Indy 500, the Brickyard 400, back when Formula One would hold their Grand Prix here in the States. I knew I had to go there, and it was just an absolutely amazing time. Yes, I was the only one there, and it was January, so I was the only one who got a tour of the track. I was the only one on the bus, along with a tour guide and the driver. But, it was pretty surreal, just going to a place that has so much history. The following year, it was a combination of games in the Midwest, the West Coast, including Canada. I was supposed to go to the Great Plains, but I had a hernia 2 weeks before the end of what ultimately turned into a shortened tour because of COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So about a week before I found out that it was getting worse, we were in Los Angeles. It was 2020, so it had been several weeks since Kobe's passing. Mm-hmm. So
that was January.
Not just right. So he passed away in January. We played at Crypto.com Arena on President's Day weekend.
Oh, wow.
And it was such a special, it was a very big weekend, not just the environment, but the Globetrotters played tribute to Kobe. I believe every Globetrotter player wear the number 24 to honor his legacy.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was a very, very emotional moment to, make that announcement in front of, I think we had about 10 to 12,000 fans in the building that day. But just to be a part of something that was really just a big deal for us that day and for the entire LA community was really surreal.
Yeah, LA has their own way of embracing him as well. And of course, they made several tributes to him throughout that year. I actually went up to LA later that summer and they were still doing a lot of tributes. And I went by Staples Center and saw, the things that they were doing. This is, of course, during COVID, when you're traveling like that, the traffic is is great. Like I felt comfortable driving in California, and most of the time, all the times I'd visited before, I was terrified. Even considering I drive in Atlanta, California driving is just something different.
You must have lucked out.
I went in June, and it was much thinner than I had remembered. It wasn't crystal clear, but it was much thinner than I had originally experienced. And my flight wasn't even that bad. I think this was right after the country kind of shut down. So but those are definitely two special moments. And I'm sure, etched in your memories forever. And just, those types of memories that we can connect with events. Like I'm a historical person. I love history. I mean, I read up on a lot of things, and I just feel like history is a way of remembering people and events so that they never go away. And so thank you so much for sharing those very powerful stories. Now, in your current role, what do you do on a daily basis with the soccer club there? I mean, you're working in several capacities with them. Are you doing announcements with them?
I think the better question is, who am I not working with?
I know. I was like, okay, I'm surprised someone's not calling you right now. That's why I'm very grateful that you found time to get me in here tonight.
Yeah. So I am the inaugural voice of the Westchester Soccer Club. It's an expansion team in the USL League One. I am also the voice of Real Central New Jersey Soccer, and that's real, not real. We are not in Europe.
Represent real. Okay, real.
Yes. I was educated before my very first game, and I can thank Jeremy Ryan for that. So the Westchester gig, so it basically takes me from the spring to the fall. There's a lot of time in between home games, so it's great that, I get to have more of a balanced announcing schedule, similar to what I usually have for the most part during the NCAA sports seasons. So with Westchester, I'm solely the PA announcer. It's a bit of a hike, but it's definitely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mentioned Real Central NJ Soccer. I am the public address announcer, the DJ, the on-field MC, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you sleep.
Yep, mic drop.
You sleep great at night. That mic is dropped through the floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely always on the go.
What was that?
I said you're definitely always on the go. Like that's awesome. Like that's how you stay young and stay relevant, to just stay busy. Like that's how you are, That's how you got to be.
Yeah. And the cool thing about this gig is it's close to home. I grew up in Mercer County. The games are at Ryder for now. But it's, it puts me somewhat in my backyard, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going pro in a couple of years. The team made an announcement sometime in the winter/spring, sometime around that frame, that we're going to be playing in WPSL Pro in a couple of years' time. This is a league that was initially trying to go after tier 3 on the women's soccer pyramid, but turns out they're going to be tier 2. So right below the top, right below the NWSL and USL Super League. The men's team's got some work to do. I can't say exactly what is going to happen with them, but I know they're definitely heading in a direction that's going to enhance the soccer community throughout the central New Jersey market. Right now, there's no professional soccer clubs in Mercer County or central New Jersey for that matter. I don't know if there's ever been one. Yes, you've got the Somerset Patriots. The Trenton Thunder are technically still a professional baseball team. See how many sports I'm, flipping and flobbering about. Technically, the Jersey Shore Blue Claws are in the central New Jersey market, even though it's more of a Jersey Shore thing. But yeah, there's not, to my knowledge, a professional soccer club in the central New Jersey market. So it's definitely going to enhance a lot of this part of the sports industry. And I think people should be paying close attention to how they're going to really attract a lot of soccer fans, maybe fans who are not soccer fans right now, and they're going to become soccer fans pretty soon. So yeah, that's what I've got going on this summer. I've got a couple of other soccer clubs that I'm going to be starting up with in about 2 to 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Oh, wow. Real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Most of them are going to take me until about July. But it's going to be a lot of soccer, a lot of time to rest my voice in between when I got to jump on the mic, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because I was just thinking, soccer and hockey, I mean, those seem to really dominate the Northeasterners. It's a geographical thing in the coast, in the United States, coast to coast, the South, the Midwest. It's like everybody has their niche. The South is known for baseball. Everyone says that. And of course, the NFL. But we all are, and I've had people on my show that actually talk about, and they're all from the Northeast because, this platform actually started out, National Streaming Sports was Northeast Streaming Sports because the production team is from Windsor, Connecticut. And so I know how often that they, what's up, Steve-O? The shirts made me think this was a Niner channel. Yeah, I know we both got on red tonight. Steve-O, thank you for joining us as always. We think about it like this, Matt. They will soon be, if they are not already, because so many fans are literally like, it's okay and it's actually acceptable to love other sports because sometimes, unfortunately, and being a Philadelphia fan, you'll end up with a Joel Embiid situation like the 76ers. So you may kind of back off from the basketball for a little bit. And then, but then you got your Eagles riding high. So we're going to delve into your sports acumen here because I know that you are super excited being the world champs as an Eagle. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I know you can't see my hands, but I got to do it for Eagles Nation. I got it.
Listen, they're out enough, and we know what the Bird crew is doing. First of all, I know it's a rhetorical question, but to know that the Eagles have gone and done it once again within the last decade is something to be definitely in honor of.
I think it's even better that they've won 2 titles in the last, what is it, like 10 years?
They win, 7 years.
Yeah, it's some low digit number, but I think what a lot of people are, have been missing out on is the fact that the Eagles are just, they're a different breed. They're a different animal. They're a different fan base now than they used to be. I think people are going to continue to look at them as a very underrated fan base simply because people just talk, what about them. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this platform, but
I appreciate you asking. You have no idea how many people get on here, and then I'll get a nice little message from YouTube about language or something on Facebook. I'll get a warning.
So there's a fine.
Yep. They'll be like, I literally don't even make all the qualifications for monetization. I meet like part of them, and they're already like, somebody's seriously hawking my page. Like, I can't even stream to my personal Facebook tonight because it's suspended. So, yeah.
Yikes.
I think it'll be back up after midnight. I'm like, listen, for that little $5 you guys are sending me, please leave me alone on my page. Literally $5.52.
Wow. Where were we? But yeah,
so we're talking about the Eagles.
And the fan base at Philadelphia sports. People are going to continue to hate on us. You know what? We're going to continue to do our thing, and like I said, it's like you said, fly Eagles fly.
Yeah, they talk about you guys are pretty ruthless up there. They say that, especially if you're in the city and you still live there. Eagle fans are spread throughout, but yeah.
And the Phillies are also doing pretty well. I mean, ever since they got Bryce Harper, right?
Yes.
I mean, yes. Strong start, but things are kind of shifted back to earth a little bit. That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
well, me being in Atlanta or in the South, it's Braves country down here. So the Phillies are always like our arch nemesis. Like they're always at kryptonite. We don't even want to see y'all coming.
Are you sure you want to be friends right now, JK?
We can be friends. We can be friends for another 35 minutes, and I'll let you release everything you really want to say. We'll be off air in like another 30 minutes, and I'll be like, you'll be like, stick around, chick. I got something to say to you. I'm like, okay, cool. You were saying, but I will tell you this. You guys really, when predictions are made and everything, I really did not see. Well, I saw the Eagles up there, but the previous season, when you guys allowed Tampa Bay to knock y'all out that first postseason game, the wild card or something, was ridiculous. I know a lot of stuff was going on. They said in the locker room behind the scenes with Jalen Hurts or whoever, but it looks like it
started on the
regrouped.
last half dozen games of last season. Oh my God, that was such.
Yeah, it was painful to watch. But I mean, I will say, I think the entire country was super excited, unless you live in Kansas City, that you guys beat the chefs and the refs. That's what I like to call them, chefs and the refs. Because you guys had to beat two opponents, and you guys blew them out like they didn't even get off the plane. I mean, I was enamored. I was so happy. You would have thought the Panthers were playing. I was so excited that you guys won. But I will say this.
Before I let you talk, let me just say, I think the Chiefs were not ready. That game was over after one half, even though the Chiefs scored points in the second half. Okay, yeah, they weren't going to win anyway. You were saying
it was shocking though. It was like, but I always thought the Chiefs look kind of just like they've lucked their way into the whole season anyway. I never really thought they were going back to the Super Bowl. I didn't think they were that good of a team, but they just were able to just throw these crazy wild balls, and Travis Kelce was dropping all his passes, but they were still able to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that, okay, now they're there, I mean, it was exciting. I was thrilled. I was just really, really thrilled. You guys played the Commanders for the NFC Championship game, a team that's in your division that you'd already seen two other times. And Jaden Daniels was looking amazing until he wasn't. And I really felt like I wanted Detroit to be the ones to play you guys. I never saw Washington, with a rookie quarterback coming at this hard, actually.
I didn't expect Washington to make the playoffs in the beginning. I thought it was going to be another season of Eagles versus Cowboys duking it out for the NFC East. Nope, the Cowboys.
In typical fashion. And they got George Pickens today from the Steelers, so they think they're about to take it back 90s style like Michael Irvin, with him being teamed up with CD Lamb. So
yeah. I will say that as long as Jerry Jones has some sort of role with the Cowboys,
control,
Stephen A. Smith can continue to bash about them boys for as long as he is around.
Yes. He's not relinquishing control. There's a clip of him saying he didn't spend all that money to relinquish it to anybody. And I mean, Jerry is like 80 something. I mean, they will he will not relinquish control. And I don't know. I still don't see them going beyond 12-5. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's where they seem to be stuck. That's their happy median.
Well, then how do you think the Eagles are gonna do?
So the Eagles, let's just be clear, you guys just restructured Dallas Goedert's contract today. So that's going to be great because they had been in an impasse with him for quite a while. So that means you guys are keeping him. Mm-hmm. He's solid. I think the Eagles, I mean, I don't see you all falling out from anything, honestly. I mean, your schedule is going to be tougher. The schedule release comes out here next week, May 14th, if I'm remembering correctly. And but the same usual suspects within your division. Then I think you guys may be playing the AFC this season. I know we played you guys all last year, and I think we play you guys again next year. Let me see.
I don't know whose turn it is. Was that?
I said, yeah, the opponents. So it's gonna matter. Let's pull you guys' possible schedule. That will give me some indicators as to, predictions. But the Super Bowl, the champs always have the harder schedule going back.
I know the Eagles open up outside this country. Hooray for going to Brazil.
What was that about last year when they did not? Somebody lost their job because they went to Brazil and it came out that like the main gang colors over there are green, and the team couldn't even go into certain areas during the week because of the restrictions.
What restrictions?
The Jets. Who opened last year? The Eagles over there. The Jets. Whoever had green, they could not.
Maybe the Packers. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I can't. God, I can't remember. It's been a lot of, let's see. Opening season for 2024 was in Brazil. There were 2 teams over there. And I remember reading that they could not leave their hotels. Okay, the Chiefs were over there. The Ravens, not over there, but the Chiefs and Ravens opened everything up. But let me see who went overseas. Packers, you were right. Let's see, hang on, was it Packers? 2024 opening day in Brazil.
Well, the Eagles played the Packers last year in Brazil and won that game, high score.
Yeah, green on green.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Are the Eagles playing overseas this upcoming season?
Let's see. Now, in 2025, they're saying the Chargers are going this year over there. They're selected to the team to go to in Sao Paulo, Brazil, as part of the international games. They don't have it where let's see, they have a list.
So I can
good. No, you're good.
I have a list of who the Eagles are going to host and who they're going to travel towards.
Oh, that's perfect. So who you guys got?
So obviously the 3 usual NFC East suspects.
Mm-hmm.
Home games will be against the Lions, the Bears, Raiders, Broncos, and Rams. And then they'll travel to the home of cheese, Green Bay, Minnesota, Tampa, KC, the Chargers, and the Bills.
Y'all playing everybody that was in the playoffs. That's exactly what your schedule looks like.
When you play well, you got to play some of the best to get even better.
Exactly. Except the Raiders. But it's so odd that you mentioned that all of those teams have new coaches or a new quarterback. Most of those teams, except for the Chiefs. You got the Raiders. You guys look, you're playing the whole AFC West.
That would be
Denver
correct.
Broncos are out there. They got Bo Nix, who was playing lights out last year in his rookie year. Sean Payton definitely is going to capitalize on where he left off. Raiders got Pete Carroll that just went to them. Of course, a seasoned coach from the Seattle Seahawks now there. He just brought Geno Smith with him. I mean, so they got veteran quarterbacks to line up, even though they're with new teams and wearing new uniforms. I don't know, they're going to be ready. And they are, of course, the situation in Green Bay, Jordan Love has definitely come into his own. You guys don't play Pittsburgh, right?
Nope. We don't have the AFC East.
They're the only ones, but you guys are playing Minnesota. They don't have, they don't even have Sam Darnold there anymore. He played really good even up to the postseason with them.
I think the Eagles are going to be all right. I think we're going to be just fine as long as, no one big goes down.
What week do you guys play Detroit? That's the game I'm looking for.
Well, I don't know because the schedule.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You guys play them on the road or at home?
Detroit, you said?
You tell me the Lions, right?
The Birds are going to host. We're going to be hosting Detroit this year.
Okay. Well, that might work out in y'all's favor if they're coming to you all because, the Lions really wanted to have an opportunity to play you all in the postseason, but then they didn't show up at the game with Washington. So there's that.
About that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Philadelphia is going to be just fine. I don't see why they won't make the postseason unless someone big goes down or the chemistry is off like it was late in 2024/2023. But yeah, I'm not concerned right now. It's May.
Yeah, it's just OTAs and all that, but they're always talking NFL, but nobody wins the game in the off season. You're right. No one wins that game. Everybody's 0-0. I will say this, the Giants actually, according to the indicators out here, have the most difficult schedule this year. The Lions are behind them. Actually, they have the third most difficult schedule, and the Browns, believe it or not, are having the second toughest schedule. And the other teams behind the top three then falls the Eagles and the Vikings. So I don't know. I think they're using AI or something like that now to generate these schedules. It's not always, yeah.
You're bringing hold on. You're bringing up artificial intelligence to someone who uses their voice for a living.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They are bringing it. They are bringing AI.
No way.
I mean, they're also doing it like to measure the first down. I mean, these are new rules that the NFL is implementing because they want to try to bring AI in there. And I'm like, yes, but who's training AI? We are. So AI is not 100% proof. But like for first downs, you know how they come out and they move the chains? Yeah. That's going to be replaced next season with AI.
Okay.
Yeah. You didn't hear that, Matt? You didn't? They just released that a couple of weeks ago. You probably missed it. It's been.
I probably did, but you know what? It's like I said, you bringing up AI to a voice actor.
I know. I'm gonna stop. I was just really trying to tell you how they generate the schedule, because people have tried to say that it's fixed, and all this, or like you said, there's haters because this team previously won, and so we're going to make their schedule more difficult. But it's not that. It's the fact that it's just generated. I'll say computer generated. We'll say that.
So what I can tell you, and I don't know if this will actually happen later this year, AI is supposed to be assisting NASCAR with how they're going to go about generating the 2026 schedule.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I'm glad that they just announced that next year's championship weekend will be at Homestead Miami Speedway. Great venue. Start in Florida.
I know where it's at. Yes.
You've been to Homestead Miami Speedway?
I've got family that live in Hialeah and Miami, and one cousin that lives right outside Homestead. So I know exactly where the area is.
Yeah. Great venue, great racing. But they're also going to start rotating where championship weekend is going to be.
Oh.
No one's going to know for a while.
I used to live by the International Raceway in Richmond, too, right in Henrico County in the late 90s.
Okay, I'm even more jealous of you.
Yeah, I used to live there. Let me tell you something. During race weekend, it was no sleep. And originally, I'm from North Carolina, and my hometown is like 30 minutes from Rockingham, which is Hammerdown Speedway there as well.
They had such a great outcome on Easter weekend with the Craftsman trucks and the Xfinity series there.
Oh, wow.
I got a feeling NASCAR is going to be back at Rockingham for a long time. I don't know if the Cup Series will be back. I believe they will eventually put the Cup Series back at that track. It's just a matter of when. So
I mean, it's such a rural area, so to bring that type of venue there, and to bring that type of like the crowds, the businesses, it's kind of like what the locals use, like to kind of like live off of, so to speak, the revenue from that for months to come, just from all of that. Because if you ever go there, you'll be like, why do they have, like, how is this such a big place? Because it is a very rural area, very rural, very off the beaten path area.
Yeah, I can guarantee you a lot of people who live here in the U.S. have absolutely no idea where Rockingham, North Carolina is located.
Yep. But I know it's in Scotland County. It is about 30 minutes, maybe not even 30 minutes from my hometown of Red Springs. And when I go from Charlotte to Lumberton, which is my home county area. I drive right through Rockingham because I'm coming from Atlanta to go to Charlotte to see family, and then I cut across 74 East. That runs you straight through Rockingham, people.
So while we're on the topic of the Carolinas, I'm actually going down to, I don't know if you're familiar with Burlington, are you? Or the Greensboro?
Did you say the Burlington? Yes,
Yes,
my sister lives in High Point, Greensboro, Triad area.
So there's a summit for public address announcers coming up this July.
Oh, cool.
I know. First time I'm actually, going to one of these events. But so what would you suggest if I was looking for a bite to eat, maybe some scenery, check out the area during my spare time? What would you recommend?
So you got to go to Logan's Steakhouse. That's like the little southern food. You got to get a taste of that. I know you guys don't have sweet tea in Philadelphia. Sweet tea is a thing of the South.
Hold on. Who said I was in Philly?
You were in the Jersey area. Jersey, Philly, New York. None of y'all have sweet tea, right?
I mean, it's probably nothing like sweet tea down there. Now,
yeah, you guys have flavored tea.
We got good pizza and good bagels.
Yes, I know the pizza. I have not had the bagels. I've been in New York a couple of times. I always have the pizza. I feel like it's healthier because it's thinner anyway. But, if you go to Chicago, they're going to argue against that because I've had Chicago pizza too. So I'm a big traveler. You probably figured that out.
Hashtag deep dish.
Hashtag deep dish. Yes, Giordani's. Giordani's. They have the great deep dish pizza right over there by the airport, Midway Airport. I don't know about O'Hare, but I know going towards Midway, they got one.
Okay, let's get back to Burlington.
Yeah. So Burlington, you got to come out of Burlington and go so there's a mall that's on I-40. If you could get to I-40 and get to the outlets / the mall area, I think it's called South Lake or South something mall. I'll definitely send you the address. You can go there and get pretty much anything, but you got to get Logan's. It's kind of set up like, I don't know if you guys have a, oh Lord, I don't know what the equivalent of like what Golden Corral is. I kind of really want you to find a Smithfield. Smithfield is kind of like a in between of a restaurant / fast food, but that's where they have barbecue. I don't know if you're not vegan or something, because I know y'all all take care of your health up there. Barbecue, you got to get you some Smithfield's barbecue, and Smithfield itself is not far from there. So come out of Burlington, get on I-40 West, and head like you're going towards Greensboro, and you'll see all those areas right off the interstate. Definitely check them out.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch this on replay, and
I'll message you and stay in contact with you and send you all the stuff. And then I'm gonna ask my sister after the show, because she actually lives there, in case I've omitted something. But she's been living there for a while, so she knows all the places. There's a waffle, and it's not a chicken and waffle, it's a waffle place downtown Old Greensboro. And it's in historic Greensboro. So that's a nice area to travel and visit. They have a nice museum there that has the historical background of the state of North Carolina and some of the lost colonies. All of that's in there as well. That's a good thing to look at while you're, when you're not eating or, just touring. But that whole area, Raleigh, of course, is the capital. That's not far from where you're going to be. They have the aquarium there. The state aquarium is there. They have a state planetarium there. Now, if you like animals, right, you got to travel a little further south to go to the zoo, like probably another hour, but that's in Asheville. But that area is the up and coming area of everything.
That's provided I can get there. And for those of you who haven't heard, there's a lot of problems at Newark International Airport.
I heard that yesterday. So what's the delay up to today? Because it was 2 hours and 41 minutes. What's it up to today?
I have not. I haven't looked at any statistics as far as what it says at the time of this recording, but I am slightly concerned about my flight 2 months from now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell you this, man. I flew into Newark because I have an uncle that lives in Irvington. And
Okay.
I flew into Newark the last time I was in New York, which was 3 years ago. And the little train they have broke down while I was on it.
No.
And I was stranded out in the middle of, you couldn't get off where it was because there was nothing there. And they had to hold my flight to come back to Atlanta because like I had taken the train out of Penn Station and came back in so he wouldn't have to pick me up, and just was excited, and to have this happen. So that happened without any shortages. I can only imagine what's going on now. And I just happened to see that yesterday about the delays online. I was like, Newark, what? Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the busiest airports in the country. They're short on staff, which sucks for those who are still there. And what was it? Oh, they lost communication with their flights for like 90 seconds. It was a nightmare.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You don't want that now. If that happened in Atlanta, everybody would be affected because Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson is the number one airport in the country. Every year they beat out LAX, and it's the only airport in the city, but they beat out cities that have multiple airports every year is the most highly traveled. So if that happens here, it's a wrap. Like it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. I've flown into Atlanta's airport because that's where the Globetrotters main office is located. That's where they send us.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they actually have an office. It's not like everyone works from home. I mean, yes, you can.
Yeah, well, I guess I thought it was in New York all these years. I never knew that.
Oh no, you're resonating Harlem with Harlem, New York now?
Yes, my whole life since I was a kid.
Oh boy, you think they're straight out of Harlem? Hot shot Swanson. If you're watching this right now, yes, I did that just for you. So shortest Globetrotter in Globetrotter history.
Yes, I clearly don't know.
I believe he's 4'5". Anyway, yes. Okay. So every player, every staff member who goes on tour, every coach, they always flew us. And they probably still do this nowadays. They fly us into Atlanta every year for training camp to make sure we know the ropes, we know the show, we know the rules and the regulations, what to do, what not to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, we're there for about, I believe it was 5 to 7 days, somewhere around that time frame. They would send us on a brief tour, usually about 2 weeks tops, sometimes a few days, depends on the market. And then we all go home, spend some time with family and friends and whatnot. And then we'd be on tour for anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
Wow, that's crazy. I literally live right by the airport too, like really close to the airport. And like that is just so amazing. I never knew that. So what time of year do you all usually travel down here for that?
What, for training camp?
Yeah, for the
so they usually, I don't know how they go about it post-pandemic. When I was there, my first year, they flew us out in mid-October, I want to say. Okay. Then we went on tour for a brief period, came home, went back on tour. Thanksgiving weekend, yes, we got to spend time with folks on Thanksgiving. But Black Friday, you back on tour.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then you were home. No, hold up. My tour, we were in the New York metro area, so it was MSG, Rutgers, and Barclays. Then we went home. Then they sent us to Florida for about a week. And then we were home. Then we got to go back on tour. That was from about, oh no, I'm sorry. My first year was a really unique one. My first year, we went back on tour during the holidays, then we went home, and then we were back on tour until about April, unless you went to Europe. Then you were out till June or May or something. My second year, it was a bit more structured. They sent us to training camp. It was sometime in late November.
Oh, wow. So like basically the holidays.
I mean, again, they allow us to, spend time with folks during
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, but after that,
You're back, yeah.
yeah.
Is it like are you working 12 months out of the season, or is it just during like do the Globetrotters have like their own season?
Most of the games happen similar to an NBA season, if
Okay.
we're not including the playoffs. Obviously, the Globetrotters don't have the postseason, right? Um, when I was there, and it's probably the same nowadays, most of the games happen during the late fall all the way through the spring.
Okay.
Obviously, if you go to Europe, you're out for a little longer. There were some abbreviated tours where they would send people to random places. They used to have a tradition of going down to Wildwood, New Jersey, and AC for several days. Part of it was because of player tryouts and then a kids clinic. I don't know how they're structuring that nowadays. I know they went to the American Dream Mall. Thank you for coming to Jersey. They were there for several days. They played on the same rink as the Metropolitan Rivers used to compete at. So that was pretty insane. I didn't go, but
I was about to ask if you had gone.
I would have. I think I had other stuff going on during that time frame, but yeah, nowadays, it's similar, but they probably have a new way of going about, how they structure their tours during the slower times of the year.
Yeah, that's got to be really interesting. And I mean, I wish my dad was here to see this interview, or my uncle, because they're the reason why I got like really into the Globetrotters. I mean, all the tricks they did with the balls, and of course the whistling. I mean, it
Yeah.
just had to be really exciting for you to be able to see all that up close and personal.
It was a very unique experience, going through, the same show. I tell people I was on tour 8 days a week. Knock on wood.
Because it's every day. It's the same show repeatedly for you.
With some slight adjustments that
Mhm.
we work on behind the scenes before the crowd shows up. But yes, for the most part, we were nonstop whenever we were on tour. We get a break every now and then, which is great. But when you're on tour, you gotta be focused.
Yeah.
I will admit it was not an easy time for me. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I had to make all these adjustments given my roles and responsibilities. I wasn't just the announcer. There were times where I'd play music to help out
Oh,
with like
wow.
pregame and halftime performances. I had to help with pregame setup and postgame teardown.
That's a lot. They actually had you helping out with that. That right there is a lot. The setting up and taking down is just
I'm still doing that with Real Central New Jersey.
wow. That's why you're in good shape. Because that moving stuff is no joke. I mean,
No,
I'm always the person, I'll come and support, but I do not want to do the cleanup or the setup. You just have to call me later.
oh boy, they would not hire you.
I know. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I have a bad shoulder. But I mean, I really do. But still, I would just be like, yeah, I don't know what this is about.
Honestly, it was a very unique experience for me in both in good and bad ways. I think with the amount of adjustments I had to make, given how my brain's wired, that was the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I would probably think the same thing, because for me, it's like I just need to know every day what I'm supposed to do. And I probably would be kind of like the monotony of seeing the whole show. But then you get to travel, you get to see everybody's, reaction. What's the furthest trip that you guys travel? You guys travel over to California, right?
Let me just, I want to clarify your question. In which geographical direction?
Oh, well, geez. I guess you guys go all over, right?
Okay, so the furthest north was probably It was somewhere in Alberta. I want to say Calgary
Oh,
or Edmonton. Edmonton's actually further north.
right. I was not ready for that.
Yeah. See what I'm doing?
Not ready.
Furthest out west I've been. So I don't know if if we looked at a map, I'm literally doing this while I'm trying to
I'm
answer
looking
your
too because I'm like, that's a long way to travel.
Okay, I gotta make sure I get this right. So the furthest west, come on, here we go. So technically, the furthest west I've been. Oh, see, it's it's practically a tie. My second year before we went to LA, we went to it's a town called or a city, Nanaimo, and it's in British Columbia, just
What?
west of Vancouver.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know you guys go out that far.
Well, when we were out there, so we stayed in a hotel while we were in the Vancouver market, but we took a ferry to
Okay.
Nanaimo. There's no other way to get there. And then we had to take a ferry back. So that day was very interesting. It was also Super Bowl Sunday. So we had to be up at the crack of dawn, make sure we were on the bus at a certain time. I don't know if the bus actually went on the ferry with us or did it.
Wow.
It did. Now that I'm thinking about it, yes, the ferry actually, the bus, see what I'm doing? The bus went on the ferry with us. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. So we had to ensure that we got on the ferry at the time that we wanted when it departed,
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to catch, I forgot what time the ferry went back to Vancouver, but there were some parts of the show we had to cut out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that we can speed things up and get back on the bus so that we didn't miss the ferry. Otherwise, we'd be waiting on the island for another hour or two.
How long was okay. Yeah. See, is that like, so in Seattle, they have this area called Vashon. I used to know a coworker that lived there. They had to take a ferry from Seattle over to this island. And I think for me flying in February, I was on the flight with some folks from British Columbia, Vancouver area. I didn't realize that's a long travel. That's a long trip. And then to have to get on a ferry is a lot.
Yeah, I will say there is a town in California that kind of mirrors the location of Nanaimo. It's called, and if I say it incorrectly, please forgive me. It's either Arcata or Arcata or something like that. It's in the Eureka market of California, all the way up in the Northwest.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was going to say the good thing is I probably won't know how to pronounce it.
Well, you don't have my job. So
right. So I can't tell you that it's correct or not correct. So that's the good thing.
Yeah, I don't recall how to say it, but anyway, yeah, it's a small market, Northwestern California. It's probably tied with Nanaimo when it comes to how far out west I've gone. The furthest, if we're talking down south,
Florida, maybe.
Coral Gables. We
Coral
played at
Gables. Okay, I do know where that is. Know where that is.
We played at the U that year. And then the furthest east was, bear with me. Okay, I got it. Bangor, Maine. Oh,
Maine. Okay. You're like we used to say growing up, savoir faire, you're everywhere. And speaking of everywhere, Matt, it's been so great sitting down talking with you tonight. I really appreciate your time. We're going to re-air this show at 2 a.m. Please know you have an open invitation to rejoin me anytime. It's just been so good getting to know all of the stuff you have going on in your sports acumen as well. And with that, we will bid everyone a good night. We'll see you guys when we see you. 24/7 Sports right here on the network and Elite Sports Network. Everyone have a good night. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
You're watching National Streaming Sports. Over 20 podcasts, 70 shows, and a 3.5-star rating.